Alright, how's it going, y'all? Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Synology DS1819 Plus, which is the NAS that I've been using for the past year, and it's honestly a great NAS. It is an 8-bay NAS, expandable up to 18 bays, and it's overall got a very small form factor, low power draw, while still being able to do a ton of features. Alright, so first off, let's go over some specs. It's got 2 DIMM slots, expandable up to 32 gigabytes total, which is pretty decent, though I would like to see it a little bit larger, given how much data you can store on this. And it's got an Intel Atom quad-core 2.1 GHz CPU, which isn't the most powerful, but I think it does the job pretty well, and it really helps lower the total power draw. Synology has it rated to, when the drives are not being accessed, to drawing under 30 watts, which is insane given how much capacity you can have. Then from there, it's really just the power draw of the drives, which adds another 30 if you've got the thing fully loaded. So because it has that lower powered CPU, it does not generate much power at all. And it's got 2 massive fans in the back that are dead silent. Even on their high-speed mode, you have to be listening out for it to hear it. And they just keep the entire thing super cool. I've had no heat issues with this at all, and I run it without AC. I live in Southern California without AC. Another great thing it has is really the footprint of it. It has an incredibly low footprint, especially when you start to consider the fact you can easily get 100 terabytes in here with a RAID 5 configuration and having overhead for Synology DSM. The one thing, depending on how critical this data is for uptime, you might want to go to SHR2 or RAID 6 because they will offer better redundancy, and so 2 drives can fail. Especially when you start talking about 16 terabyte drives, rebuild times can take a very long time and just increase the possibility that one of the drives fails, completely losing the pool, and you'd have to restore from backups. So you really need to figure out how important uptime is for you and make sure that you've got really good backups either way. So I have my DS1819 Plus loaded with 6 4 terabyte Iron Wolf drives. And the reason I do this, instead of having fewer drives with larger storage capacity, is the sequential read and write speeds you get by RAIDing all of these drives together. I've got it running RAID 5, which is equivalent to SHR1 in this setup. I go into SHR versus RAID in another video, and I'll link that in the description. But with that and my 10 gigabit card, I can easily get 600 megabytes read and write on it, which is an awesome feature to have for sequential performance. I'm able to dump massive files to it very quickly, which for my video editing has been incredibly nice to have. And with a 10 gigabit card, I can even edit massive photos in Photoshop and Lightroom that are stored on an SMB share, and I'm able to edit them as if they were saved to the hard drive of my computer. It's just really nice to have that kind of performance. So now let's talk about some of the great features that this NAS brings to a small or medium-sized business. First off, I've got to talk about Synology Drive. Synology Drive has incredible capabilities, and it makes setting up what otherwise would be a really complex setup incredibly easy. It allows every single user to have home folders and also have team folders where they can share documents with each other at whatever computer they sit down to, and it automatically syncs them to the local computer. That means everything will happen very quickly for the users, and it all gets done automatically with Synology Drive. It also has built-in VPN servers and just so many features that businesses really need. And honestly, what it does is it allows very small IT departments to provide really nice services to hundreds of employees. I think Synology's market is really that because it can save so much money in reoccurring IT costs and employees by just setting up something that works. You can't do incredibly complex configurations with this, but out of the box, if you just set it up with all of Synology's features, you will be able to easily grow your company to more and more employees. Then when you pair Synology Drive and BTRFS, it also gives you file versioning for the employees. So Synology Drive uses ultra-thin snapshots, so you can have tons of snapshots of all the users' data. So if something happens and they didn't like an update, they can go back by themselves to a previous version of the file. That is one of the best features because that means they do not have to get IT involved, which, as anybody who has worked in a corporate environment can attest to, is something that will make this so much easier. They can just grab the data themselves and it just works. Synology also makes backing up to another offsite NAS incredibly easy with Hyper Backup. This is great for companies because it automatically just backs up their data off-site, so if something happens, it can be quickly and easily restored. Backups are something that often smaller businesses forget or overlook, and often backups will fail quietly without anybody noticing. I've found Synology Hyper Backup to be incredibly resilient and just work really well. And if anything does happen, it does start sending emails, which is really important. There are also tons of other features you can run on here. DNS servers, mail servers, VPN servers, you name it, Synology has it set up. And the user interface is just so easy to use. Alright, so now let's talk about a couple of the cons, and really I've just got one or two here. The first off is the CPU, and I'm not sure if it's a con or not, honestly. So it's got a quad-core 2.1 GHz CPU. It's not the most powerful, but overall I've found it gets the job done. You can run a few virtual machines on it and not stress it too much, while also having multiple people connecting to it. However, I don't know how it will handle if you try to have 50 people connecting via an SMB share trying to do a bunch of file transfers. Overall, I found it to be completely adequate for what I need it for, though I do have an R630 FreeNAS build that I use to host virtual machines that need a lot of power. So something like GitLab, I was able to run it on my Synology. However, it did take up a lot of resources, and so I figured I'd just put that over in the FreeNAS build. I also use the FreeNAS build as an all SSD SMB server for these videos. I host them all in there, and that way I can edit them on any computer and just quickly access all the files. The other con that I see with it is the fact that it does not have built-in 10 gigabit or M.2 caching. This is something I feel like almost all users want who are going to be buying a NAS with 8 bays, because you really want to get that performance out of it. However, I can also see the fact that 10 gigabit might not be necessary for a lot of people. If you've only got gigabit connections everywhere, then the 4 gigabit connections with link aggregation will probably be sufficient, especially if you're having a lot of users connect with random read and writes. Your bottleneck will probably end up being the drives before it will be the actual throughput. The M.2 caching I do wish was added, as they've added it to much smaller units where it makes much less sense. I do get that it does keep prices down, but still, I think there is easily headroom for them to add this in as just a feature. Though they do now have the new card, which features both a 10 gigabit connection and 2 M.2 SSD caches on there. So you can add both now. Though another limitation that I think is just imposed by Synology is the fact that you cannot create a volume using the 2 M.2 cards. Instead, they can only be used as caches. So what I would have liked to do is been able to use that as a very fast volume for something like video editing, and then take them off manually. Instead, you have to use them as a cache, which does limit its abilities, I think. Another thing is the RAM. You can give it 2 16 gig DIMMs. However, I would have liked to see this expanded to 64 gigabytes at least. I feel like if you're running with 100 terabytes with a lot of users connected to it, you're going to start running into resource limitations because stuff is stored on disks instead of RAM. I've not run into any issues with it, but I think as you involved a lot more users, you would start to see it slow down because of this. But overall, I've been just incredibly impressed by the DS1819 Plus, and it really does just feel like a NAS that will keep on plugging. Go ahead and leave any other tutorials you'd like to see me make or questions about the DS1819 Plus in the comments below, and have a good one. Bye!